Good day. This is Russell Hawley coming to you from the Tate Geological Museum at Casper College. And today I'm going to address a question that I get a lot, and that is dinosaurs. How do you tell apart the girls and the boys? Well, there was a study that was done quite some time ago that proposed that we could tell apart male and female dinosaurs by looking at the chevrons. And chevrons are prongs of bone that come out from underneath the vertebrae in the dinosaur's tail. And researchers noticed that in some dinosaurs, the first two chevrons are the same size. And in other individuals of that same species, the first chevron is missing and the second chevron is only half the size of the third, which unfortunately in this specimen is not preserved. And it was proposed that the types that had the first chevron intact were the males and that the females were the ones with the missing chevron. The logic being that left more room under the tail for eggs and egg-laying machinery. Well, it made a lot of sense, but unfortunately it turned out to be wrong. When people looked at larger sample sizes of specimens of alligators and crocodiles in the world today, they found that among both males and females, the arrangement of the chevrons is extremely variable, and you cannot reliably tell males and females from looking at their chevrons. Another idea that's been proposed is looking at the position of the horns in ceratopsian dinosaurs. In the horned dinosaurs like Triceratops and Torosaurus, you'll often have two different morphs within a single population. Some with the horns sticking forward as they do on Nicole here, and in other individuals of the same species, the horns pointing more nearly up. The famous Diceratops hatcheri specimen is a good example of that arrangement. And it was proposed that the ones with the horns more vertically oriented were the males, and the ones with the horns oriented forward are the females. The logic there was that horns sticking up would be better for display, something you'd expect to see in male animals, whereas these forward-directed horns are better for self-defense. And this might have been particularly important for females protecting their young. It makes good logical sense, but we don't know whether that's the case or not. And it could be that these two genders are actually reversed and that these are the males with the forward-directed horns, or it could be that it's just individual variation and has nothing to do with gender at all. If that hypothesis is correct, however, it means that Nicole's name is appropriate because these forward-directed horns show that she is indeed a female. Otherwise, we'll have to change her name to Nicholas. But of course, everybody always gets interested when we mention the most famous dinosaur of all, Tyrannosaurus rex. And the first dinosaur that was positively identified as a female was a Tyrannosaurus rex specimen. The thigh bone, or femur, was sliced transparently thin and looked at under a microscope. And the lining of the cavity inside of that bone was channeled and vascularized. And this is something that happens in female reptiles and birds when they're either laying eggs or just finished laying eggs, or getting ready to lay eggs. It happens because the blood starts taking calcium out of the bone in order to build eggshell. And in this particular case, the vascularization of the interior of that lining identified it as a female. So that was the first time that we were able to confidently say, not only it's a girl, but also it's a mom.